And we're back to doing the back and forth thingamabob with flashbacks. Here we are 2 years ago. Better dip into places to loot things, even though it's not gonna matter. I don't have an inventory that I can even access. So I may as well go to the all-important room. There was dialogue in there. Will there be dialogue in here? Oh, there's notes. I guess I can grab those. Those I can have a look-see at. Some more lore here. Let's see. The growth has clearly mutated. Let's see if the test results collaborate our theory. This is big. Another thing. But it is worth dipping into the rooms in the flashback. Let's see here. By this time tomorrow, we will have altered the course of history. J. Was there a note in the first thing that I missed then? Let's see. Oh, there's a thing here. Bunch of medical stuff.
There's gotta be something.
Yeah, there's boxes I can open.
Why'd you all leave?
That is a good question. Well, yeah, it definitely seems like, but at least you can still hear them, unlike a lot of games where you just wouldn't be able to, because I swear a lot of game designers have no idea how the hell to mix their audio. Let's see here, Dawn, you know, I'm glad I cataloged and collected all this rare hospital equipment. As soon as I'm done, I hear that there's no use for it anymore. I can't fucking believe you guys voted to disband. I get it, this was a miracle that slipped through our fingers. Shitty. The whole world is shitty. Why don't we give up like this? What now? Settle in QZ? Join some third-rate resistance groups? Fuck that. Someone still has to care. Spend the rest of my life trying to find them. Die trying. Scott. I don't know who the heck Scott is. But yeah. Oh. I guess I could always turn up the game sound a little bit higher. I always try to make sure that the game is louder than me. But, I do get concerned if, like, there's bits where it gets really quiet. But then if there's bits that's, like, super loud, then it could potentially overpower me. That's my concern. Mixing stream audio kind of stuff. Times. Open up. Anything super special here? Thud. Or shit. E. This looks important. Zine. So.
Most people have left already. I don't know which group I'm gonna join. I was one of the ones that wanted to go after the smuggler and the girl. They said, even if we found her or by some miracle found someone else that's immune, it'd make no difference. Because the only person who could develop a vaccine is dead. Or by some miracle found someone else that's immune, it'd make no difference. Found someone else that's immune, it'd make no difference. Because the only person...
Ellie! Come here. What the hell are you thinking? Running off in the middle of the night like that. You talk to me. You don't just leave me a goddamn note.
Tell me, what happened here? If you lie to me one more time, I'm gone. You will never see me again. But if you tell me the truth, I'll go back to Jackson. No matter what it is. Just say it. Joel.
Making a vaccine would have killed you. So I stopped them.
Oh my God. Don't you fucking touch me! I'll go back. But we're done.
Yeah, can't be too surprised about all those scars. That last level was pretty insanely brutal. Now that that flashback has happened, I can mention kind of like another one of my issues with this story is it makes me a bit, at least when I was playing through like kind of casually before, made me very confused about character motivations with the order that things were taken. And I'm sure I'll talk about this a lot more in depth when you know, I give full review and stuff like that at the end. But you have the events of Last of Us Part 1 and then like the events of Part 2. And then a lot of stuff in the middle that's left out, like I had mentioned before, that the gaps are filled in. And the big pivotal thing about the ending of Part 1 is that there's the sort of cliffhanger ending of Joel lying to Ellie about what happened with the Fireflies, him lying to her saying, like, oh, there's lots of people that were immune, and they just ran some tests, and then they were done, and yada yada. They'll figure it out without you, don't worry about that. Like, we're all A-okay. Or, like, raiders attacked, and we had to get out of there at this point, or something like that. And him swearing that that's the truth, and they can live out their lives and stuff like that. So, the game ends with very much a bombshell that he is keeping hidden, that you know, if gets out, will fundamentally change the dynamic of their relationship. It will completely change things. And we don't see anything relating to that before Joel dies. So then it leaves you asking, like, okay, are we gonna find out the answer to that, or are we just, like, moving forward and not doing that anymore? And what is the nature of their relationship? Because you don't really fully understand the nature of their relationship if you don't know whether that information was something that she had known or not. And from cutscenes like that, it makes it seem like, oh, she didn't really like him all that much anymore because, you know, that kind of felt like an act of betrayal. So I remember when I was playing through here casually, I was kind of asking, like, wait, so she's hell-bent on revenge at this point, but she was kind of in a state where she hated him, and yet when he dies, like, she's going on, like, this whole quest of revenge and stuff like that. And it led me guessing, like, okay, is this just revenge or is there some other motivation? Spoilers, just revenge. So playing through the game up until this point, it really had me guessing, what is the nature of their relationship? Is it revenge that she wants? Is it something else? Did she have this information? I can't fully understand what the dynamic of their relationship was without that information. And the information is only shared at the end of Seattle Day 2. And so long into the game here. And it's like, oh, okay, she did know. Wait, why is she trying to get revenge then if this happened? And the cutscene that kind of concludes the dynamic of their relationship, I think if memory serves, is like right towards the end of the game. And it's like, now, really? It's like, yeah, I've already mostly figured that it was, you know, revenge and, you know, that she was still upset at him, but they were also like kind of okay again and stuff like that. When I was talking about the first episode of the show earlier, I feel like that's something that the first episode of the show did a bit better. It still doesn't reveal whether or not she knew at that point, but it does heavily imply it, especially with like the new scenes that I've put in, like the discussion with the therapist that wasn't in the game version, where Joel is continuing to be upset that like Ellie isn't spending as much time with her, just as much time with him. She moved out of his place into the garage to be a bit more separated and just kind of keeps herself locked away, and, you know, will sometimes just briefly say hi, and that's kind of it. And the therapist makes it clear that he's come to her with that issue multiple times, and that's when she's like, you know, let's cut the bullshit and just be completely honest, and asks him, did you do something to her? And, you know, he nods as if to say, like, you know, the reason why she's upset and like that is because she is aware of what he did to her. Like, it doesn't directly say it in episode 1, but it does a lot more heavily imply she does know at this point. Something that the game doesn't really do. It just leaves you guessing, like, did she know? Did Joel take it to his grave? Like, Tommy wouldn't have shared it with her. Was there a thing that happened? Because these blanks aren't filled in until later flashbacks where it's like, okay, she did know, so, like, what are the character motivations here? Like, is it just revenge? And, you know, it makes you think, is there some deeper, like, more complicated motivation here? No, there really isn't. So, for what purpose does it leave you guessing? It's not like it's some grand reveal, like, oh, she was going after revenge after all, and there wasn't more complicated motivation behind it than that. It was just that simple. It's like, okay, that's not really a big, like, whoa kind of moment. It's not really payoff to having that mystery solved. It's just like, okay, I would have liked to know that earlier so I better understood the friggin' character I was controlling for the past 20-something hours here so far. It's just, it is a really bad way to handle a story. Like, for the most part, I do think that the story that they try to tell here is pretty good. I do think that in terms of, like, actual events, that there are some issues as well. But they had something good going on here. But the method in which they tell it, that just leaves the player guessing about, like, motivations and, like, what the hell the character they're playing as is even doing. It's just, it's kind of frustrating in a sense, and it's also not as gripping when you don't really understand why the character that you're playing as is doing the things that they're doing. I think that this information would have been better shared earlier on. There's no reason to just, like, be hiding that. And you can be playing a character in a game where you acknowledge that, like, hey, what they're doing might be flawed. It might make them into a bit of a villain, but you can still get behind what their motivation is. Like, a good example of that might be Near Replicant, for example. In Near Replicant, the guy that you play as, he's trying to rescue his sister from all the wispy, weird, black, foggy guys that I forget what the heck they're called. And as you do multiple playthroughs, and it's really sucky that you need to do multiple playthroughs to get the full story, you find out that the black, foggy guys aren't really necessarily evil, and they have, like, their own motivations and goals and stuff like that, but the characters never talk this out. They just go and, like, fight and kill one another and stuff like that. But, I mean, you still kind of want to be playing as the main character and getting to the end, because you still have, like, the goal of saving his sister. That's like, okay, I can get behind that. You know, it sucks that I'm killing these shades, I believe they're called. And, you know, they're kind of innocent in the matter, and they're just trying to live their lives, and they're defending their territories and those they care about. So, like, I can acknowledge that the hero that I'm playing as is flawed in that sense, and maybe a little bit too much. Even his companion of Grimoire Vice, was oftentimes being like, whoa, like chill out, kid. You're going a little bit far here. But like, I don't necessarily feel too bad playing him. Of course, it's like, wow, it's kind of shitty that he's doing those things. But there is still like enough of a driving force and motivation that I can get behind him. In this, like, it very much presents this situation where what Ellie is doing is kind of, you know, evil and stuff, like beating this information out of Nora and all that, and very much going down like a dark, revenge-driven path. But when the game doesn't share like the full context of like the dynamic of her relationship with Joel, and it makes you question, okay, is it revenge? Is there something else going on here? What was it that Abby was doing, since like it's only as you play and it becomes more evident, like was part of the Fireflies and stuff there, but you still don't know exactly what relation she had to them, like what kind of connections were there and stuff. And it just leaves you guessing these character motivations that can't get you as behind the characters that you're playing as, I feel like. And so a combination of that and like the back and forth to actually get this information revealed. If I was like just playing this on my own time, like outside of content creation, outside of like playing it casually with family and stuff, if I didn't want to like specifically bum rush through see the story, if I was just playing through like this and I wasn't a content creator, even with kind of the challenge or grounded mode, I think I would have a bit of a difficult time seeing this through. I think I would just like lose interest, I think. Because I just don't think it's very interesting when you don't actually understand why the direct character that you're playing as, or like the main hero of a journey, you don't understand the motivations of to like such an extreme degree. Like you can have like the motivations of like a main villain be unclear, and then like you put the pieces together as you experience a story. I think that could be fine and engaging. But when the person that you're directly controlling, you're moving towards a goal that you don't even completely understand why they're moving towards it, and it's only through flashback sequences that you unlock as you go through the game that you actually understand why they're doing what they're doing. It just, I don't think that's very interesting in my opinion, and I'll probably talk about that a whole bunch at the end. But in my opinion, I do think that that is a fundamental flaw of the story. And if the show does do more stuff earlier on, instead of this stupid, like, back and forth kind of thing, I don't think there'd be any pickups around here. That would be great, because that's something that I don't really like about this game.
Jesse?
Because, yeah, it does very much turn out that it is just revenge, but, again, like, while playing this part of the game, I got to that point. I was very much like, wait a second, wouldn't she not like Joel at this point, as far as we know with, like, the flashback sequences? And we saw that the dynamic of their relationship was a bit strained during the brief bits in Jackson. But yet, at the same time, she was bonded enough to him that, like, when people come and, like, extract revenge on him, for reasons that, like, Nora and that flashback clearly revealed, she knows, like, why they came and killed Joel, like, figured that they were associated with the Fireflies, and he went and slaughtered all of them to save her. So, like, she very much gets why they did it, and she kind of has it out for him to a degree as well for that. And acknowledges that that is, like, a completely terrible thing he did. And yet, she wants to come out and, like, kill them all. Like, ideally Abby, but kill anyone else along the process that she needs to. And, it's just... It's very frustrating. It doesn't really make for a likable protagonist, and it also doesn't really make for as understandable of a protagonist when they take the storytelling in the order that they do. You know? So there's a lack of understanding there, and then when you eventually do understand, it's like, oh, okay. I'm not entirely sure how much I like this character here. I feel like this game, especially as it goes on, tries really, really hard to try to make you dislike Ellie and to try to make you like Abby, to the point that it feels a little bit forced during the Abby parts of the game later on. In my humble opinion. There is some issues with the audio. I can turn it up like a smidge in the volume mixer. Turn it up to like here and just hope that if something gets loud, it doesn't overpower me. I'll look over at OBS and see what the levels are looking like.
She had a rough night. Barely could get her to keep water down.
You should have woken me up.
Is she pregnant?
Yeah?
I get why you came out here. But we gotta take her back. She needs real care and she's not gonna get that.
Yeah, I know. But I can't just leave Tommy. He's out here because of me. Maybe you could take her back.
She's not gonna leave without you.
Yeah.
Screw it. Let's get Tommy. This aquarium that girl told you about. Tommy hasn't found Abby yet. I'll post up there until he does.
And you're good with leaving Dina by herself?
Her orders.
Okay. Let's go tell her we're leaving then.
I'll just meet you up front.
Yeah. Hi. Hey, babe. I need you to lock the door for us.